Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I am talking about balance, because it seems, doesn't it, that in order to have a good life and not be stressed, that we must focus on creating balance. But what on earth does that mean is my first question today. How do we know whether or not we have balance? And is it like, it sounds like a really big thing, but as I'm saying this, what's coming to me is that it is a momentary thing. Like in this moment right now, do you feel balanced? Because actually that's the only reality. And what I'm thinking as I'm saying that is that if we think that creating balance is this huge piece of work, something that we need to spend time on, that we need to deliberately create, that we have to have rigid schedules and rules about things, then I wonder how much time we're actually spending in the present moment experiencing how balanced or not we are. Because really it's in this moment, because that's the only thing that's really real. Now, my life was once really out of balance, I would say, because it was just too full. I think is probably the truth of the matter. There was just too much in my life, far, far, far too much in my life. And the balance was out of balance because I wasn't in the end sleeping very well, and I was very stressed, etc. But I think the awareness there, when I think about it, was that I wasn't aware that my thinking was guiding me really onto a ridiculous path. I listened to my thinking and I believed what it was saying and I did what it said. And that led me down a really quite not very healthy path at all. But I also then have had a phase of trying to create balance by having really rigid rules in place. Thou shalt not work after such and such a time. Thou shalt not work at the weekend. Thou shalt not pick up your phone at various times, or, actually having quite rigid rules. And what I found that did was just, again, put me out of kilter, but just in a different way. I am an early riser, a very early riser. I wake very early in the mornings. So sometimes I will sit in bed and I'll scroll on a bit of social media and catch up with messages and things on there, or I'll maybe write a post, or I'll write something that interests me because it's come to mind in the moment. And my fiance is snoring next to me because he sleeps a lot later than me. And that's okay. I even do that on a Sunday morning. Doesn't matter. Now, sometimes on a Monday afternoon, I have a nap because my body says, time for a nap, Claire. You're tired. And if there's an opportunity, then I will take a nap. I think the idea that balance is something for us to create, rather than it is something which is created when we spend more time in the present moment, when we start to understand our thoughts and feelings better. because the misunderstanding about where our feelings are coming from is probably what's driving most people to be out of balance. Because it's, if I think my feelings come from earning more money, having more clients, that I'm going to get a better feeling at some point in the future when something in my business is in a different place, then of course it will make total sense for me to stay at work later and therefore not see my kids or my family, in order to achieve that future goal. That's where balance becomes much more natural and easier to experience, is when we don't listen to that voice that says keep working, keep working, keep working, and we start to take it a little bit more with a pinch of salt, and we listen to our body, which says you're tired, and we listen to our heart, which says your kids are at home and they're going to bed in an hour, because they're here in the present moment, they're happening now. But if we think our feelings, we're going to feel better about life when at some point in the future this and this are in place, then we will keep striving to get to those things, and balance will go out of the window. Because I think balance is our natural state. I mean, I think that's where I'm pointing to, really. Human beings before this we've created in the world right now were naturally in balance. We fall naturally into balance when we're not listening to our feelings and misunderstanding them and the thoughts that go with them. If we're not seeking a feeling in the future or seeking a feeling somewhere outside of us, then balance will occur naturally. And bizarrely, to be honest, because I didn't quite get this until recently, that where we do connect more deeply to who we really are, all the productivity that we ever could imagine, all the motivation that we actually think we want, is already there when we're not so caught up in our personal thinking. Because I think also that is our natural state, to be doing things, to be producing, to be creating in the world. But that doesn't have to happen at the detriment of seeing your family. When there's a natural falling into the present moment, when we realise that there's nowhere to get to, when we realise it doesn't matter how hard we work, we won't find that better feeling somewhere else in space, in time, in the future. We will not find it there. Like, that feels, well, I can tell it feels like something, because it usually makes me go emotionally when I've hit something like that. It's the seeking that takes us away from balance. We think it's the opposite. We think if I keep working really hard, then eventually I'll reach this point where I can stop and spend time with my kids. That I can, the point where I can, where I can take a break or whatever. And, the emotion for me right now is because I did get to the stage where I had to stop, and nobody wants to be in that place where they are forced to stop. That is not where any of us are going to thrive in life. I wasn't thriving when I burnt out, but I certainly was seeking a feeling somewhere else by trying to control the outside world, and that took me away from balance. I actually love the way this session has unfolded. It's been I've seen a lot today too, which is always wonderful. like everything else, like these sessions are becoming more and more, well, they are repetitive because they're supposed to be, because it's always the same truth I'm pointing to, but they're becoming more and more about an end to seeking, because that is always going to be the creator of your discomfort. Notice where you're seeking a different feeling than the one you have now in the world out there, and you've cracked life. That's it. That's all you need to have seen. And then balance, that will just come naturally.
Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.